Welcome back to Robin Minds. Before we went on the break, we were having a conversation about national issues, particularly in the area of how the people are feeling and how the people want to protest and what the government is also doing to make sure that that protest doesn't happen. Like I said earlier, whatever side of the divide you're on, Nigeria is our own. And all we just want to achieve is to make sure we have a prosperous and a safe nation. Now moving on to Nollywood. Yes, on a very lighter note, but also on a very important note. Yes, as you know that Nollywood as an industry is one that has thrived despite all the challenges that the industry has faced. And every now and then we also have very critical stakeholders and key players in the industry that are pushing the frontiers and pushing our stories worldwide on different streaming platforms. In the studio to actually discuss Nollywood today is one of Nigeria's most respected creatives as far as we are concerned, Bolanle Austin Peters, who also is the founder of Terra Culture and the executive producer of House of Gar. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. We also have a very star actor. Yes, Mike Afolarin, how you doing? Good, good to see you. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Quite a minute.
Okay, so let's get straight into it. Bolanle, I can call you Bolanle, right? BAP. All right, BAP, Bolanle Austin Peters. So let's talk about your, I wouldn't necessarily call it your evolution, but I would say, let's talk about how you're constantly pushing the creative force in Nigeria. Yes, you are widely known for your impact in theater with massive productions that are too numerous to count. And now with your film, House of Gar, you have actually really just pushed the frontier and you've told such an important story. Tell us about how important it is to just sort of touch all these areas of creativity, theater, and now film.
Like you said, first it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. I do what I do because I enjoy it. And the creative process that we have at Terra Culture sort of like covers all the different spheres, from food to visual arts to theater and to movies now. Somehow movies gets much more magnified because it has more eyeballs, right? But at the end of the day, it's just really telling Nigerian stories through the different avenues that I have. I'm very passionate about Nigeria. I'm passionate about Nigerian stories. And that's what we're doing. Just ensuring that we put Nigeria on the front burner, that people get to see the best out of Nigeria. A lot of people are yearning to understand Nigeria, Nigerians, our culture. And don't forget that a lot of Nigerians are also outside of Nigeria.
True.
And this is the connect for them. So what we do is we bring Nigeria home to them wherever they are. And it's a celebration of all that makes us Nigerians that we do. And we try to do it at the highest level of excellence.
Talking about highest level of excellence, I was personally trying to estimate the budget of House of Gar, and every single time I felt like I had a figure, I just see one scene and then the figure just automatically changed. Why was it important for you to really just make the film really good? I mean, the costuming, the casting, everything was so important, and I was really critically watching to see a place to heavily criticize.
I think the strength that I bring in is also the strength that I've had from stage. The years of honing my skills on stage has taught us that you can't cheat. People see everything. And if you look at what happens in other parts of the world, they spend billions of dollars to give you the content and the quality, that they give to the world to chew. So in Nigeria, we just have to get to that point where we choose not to compromise. We cannot compromise standards. We cannot think that we're operating for a local audience. The world is smaller. Everything you do here is seen across many oceans, in nanoseconds. So whatever it is that you're watching here, I've had text messages from Dubai, from America, from New Zealand, all over the world. They've watched House of Gar. So I'm not operating on that mindset of, oh, this is local. I'm operating on the mindset that whatever I do must have that global standard of excellence to it, and that is what we're doing.
There has been conversations around the the amounts of money being spent on Nigerian production versus their other African counterparts, particularly South Africa. You know, a lot of people have said that, you know, perhaps the Nigerian Nollywood industry does not get as much funding as opposed to their South African counterparts. And is that an issue?
I'm sure, you know, the thing is, the economics of things, there must be a rationale for those who are investing to be doing what they're doing. I'm not an accountant, but I do also know that there are Nigerians who are in a position to fund these projects that are not funding it. So why is it always that we're looking to outsiders to solve our problems for us? We should be able to raise those funds internally in Nigeria. So if you're talking about other parties funding you, then it's to, for me, I'm sorry to say, it just doesn't hold water. I'm not going to be looking next door, asking how they're spending their money. I should be asking myself, why aren't we doing the same here internally ourselves? And for me, that's really the issue. So if somebody is spending their money any which way they want, it's their prerogative. It's not for me to judge them and say, you must give me money. It's not.
Okay, yes, one of the conversations on social media is the fact that we have two great icons of Nollywood. Of course, there were several icons in the movie, but there were two female icons that a lot of people had thought at some point were in opposite directions, so to say, but were seeing them in one film. I'm talking of Toyin Abraham Ajayemi and Funke Akindele in one movie. And I think that really excited the audience. You know, was that deliberate to bring these two people together, or was it just a matter of these are the two people that could best fit the character?
I think it's the latter. Like you rightly said, what I do, if you looked at the casting of that film, it was myself and Tolu Lotana and a couple of others who chipped in when we needed assistance. I cast based on your ability to deliver. I don't cast on your fame. Coincidentally, all of them bring their fame to the table. And as you can see, every single person that is in that movie was just perfect for the role that they played. Simple.
True, and I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Also, we've seen that our local stories, told in its rawest form, you know, told in its most epic form, is gaining a lot of momentum globally, and sometimes even being preferred to the contemporary and the modern stories, you know. So how important is it for us to preserve our culture through films?
I think what we're doing is exactly that. You know, the younger generation increasingly are into digital media, right? And apart from the fact that it's a lasting form of retaining your story, right? It's more accessible. And if you're talking about local content, culture, things that is us, I think that we're the better people to tell our own stories. Foreigners can't do that for us. And every time we try to borrow their own culture, you will notice that we kind of like fall short most times because you're borrowing what is not yours. But when we talk about who we are, nobody can talk about your home better than you.
True.
So what we're doing now is we're showcasing the best of African culture. Like I told you earlier, there's a lot of Africans that are in the diaspora who have traveled the world, who are yearning. When I take my plays out of Lagos or Nigeria to other parts of the world, the demand is exceptional because all of them are looking for that thing that will tie them back to motherland.
True.
So in doing this, all of a sudden, the world is realizing, like the South Koreans did, that African culture is beautiful. African culture is diverse. House of God tells you about the political structure. It talks about the fashion. Look at how grand and elegant we are as Africans. So for me, I don't think that we can do anything better than to start focusing more on telling our own stories to the world. And I think the world is just absolutely waiting for Nigerians to do that.
And I'm happy that you're one of those people that are actually pushing this narrative, because sometimes when I watch Hollywood movies, and especially when they're trying to depict our accents, and you always hear like, oh, my name is, and this is supposed to be an Nigerian accent, my name is Mbukuru. And so they can only tell our stories to the extent that they understand. And no matter the budgets, it always falls short to original Africans, you know. So I'm going to move on to one of the stars of House of God, Afolarin. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, when you walked in, I said you now look like Wizkid.
Wow.
So I've known you for a lot of years, and I know your process. I remember vividly even the periods where you had to, you know, audition for certain, I mean, you're still auditioning, but on a grander scale, where you had to audition for certain roles, and it was, a lot of people think you just came into Like you just came into the scene, but you have been grinding for a minute. So how important is the wait?
The wait is actually very important. It's the most important thing, if I would say. You can't rush the process. There's times when you have to just watch and learn. Because I came into the industry, I knew what I wanted from the industry. I knew the goal, but I took time to just appear or show up on production sets and just watch and just observe and just learn. I worked on Bling Legotions as a behind-the-scenes photographer. That's one of her projects. That was the first time we ever worked together. Then I had barely started, acting. And just in that process of waiting to get a break, I learned so many things that are vital to my career right now and so many life lessons that I hold dear to my heart. And I also met people that are very instrumental in my success right now in the industry.
That's beautiful. I particularly love how much you've grown, not just as an actor, but also as an individual, The Mike I know is a full-grown man now. So yeah, tell us how it was working on House of God, with so many Nollywood legends.
Yeah, House of God is definitely a core memory for me right now because I was just saying earlier that it's like probably the most intense I've ever worked in my life because months before getting on set, I was already in like the gym trying to get in proper shape for the character. I was doing horse riding trainings, I was doing stunt rehearsals, and just seeing that a Nollywood project is taking these elements as seriously as it should be made me, more enthusiastic about the project, made me, look forward to getting to set and performing my heart out. So, like, no surprise when, the film is out and everybody is reacting and, gushing over it because the actual work was put in and,
What would you say was the biggest challenge? At what point did you say, what, should I continue this project or Mama, you can keep your balance?
For me, I think it would be the Yoruba speaking throughout the entire film because I think in English. I'm not I've grown up, but luckily for me, I grew up with like my grandparents, so I would hear like the language. I would speak as much as I could, but having to speak it in such a way that people spoke it back in the day. I had to be more intentional with it, and thanks to Ibrahim Chatta on set, I would just go and sit and ask him repeatedly, okay, sir, how do I say this? If I want to say this, how am I supposed to say it? I remember there are lines that I would have to understand what it means in Yoruba, or in English rather, and then like convert it to Yoruba, and then like just hear the story behind why Yoruba people say this. So in working on this, I learned so much about my culture, and like I would say I'm a better Yoruba man right now after working on House of God.
That's fantastic, and I think that's one of the things that really endears me to House of God and other of our, indigenous, authentic stories that we tell to the world. Yeah. BAP, honestly, it is very, very, very challenging, pulling up a production in this country with several challenges that are outside your control. You hear filmmakers saying that they want to go film at a particular location and your money less and the area boys want to come. You hear filmmakers say that they don't have enough support from the government. So really, how are you doing it?
So I think that it depends on the personality of the individual. I've run Terra Culture for 21 years. Running a business in Nigeria in and of itself is a humongous task. And anybody who has run a business where you have staff and you have survived, and especially in the arts, we should be given an award. So I've traversed all sorts of pain points, and I've learned that life in and of itself is a journey. Every production is a journey. So what I do is I just say to myself, okay, it's a step at a time. A journey of 1,000 steps, you start with one. So whenever I'm framing a project, I start with, okay, this is the idea, this is the destination. We're going to take it a step at a time. There will always be bumps. There will always be challenges. That's life.
True.
But I always see the end from the beginning. And that's how I've been able to do as many productions as I have been able to do.
And I'm just hoping a lot of people can draw strength from that. Just hearing you speak, your mannerism, your confidence and everything, you can tell that, Mama, you be OG before I do.
You learn. Life teaches you that there's no hurry for anything. And there's a lot of, there's pacing. There's something called time and seasons. Things will happen. Just do your best, stay in the space, and things will happen.
So what would you say is the future of Nollywood with the way things are going now?
Great. I think things are going to get bigger and better. I think that if you look at Nigeria as a whole, the way I look at Nigeria is virgin territory.
Yeah.
Anything you choose to do, if you do it, just do it as good as you should or as you can, it will always come back in multiples. So the future of Nollywood, apart from the fact that African stories are now, you know, there was a young lady, Tomi Adeyemi, the aunt sent me her book. She's doing something her book is being done by Americans now.
Yeah. Children of Blood and Bones.
Exactly.
Wow.
In Nigerian, so Nigerian stories. So and somebody approached one of the great writers of the past also, all their stories, Nigerian stories are in demand.
Yeah.
They're sort of like maxed out in the West. So this is our time. And we have great filmmakers, great actors, all of us doing our best, you guys promoting and supporting. The future is bright.
The future is really bright.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mike Afolarin, let's delve into, you know, your personal life. You know, a lot of people have been asking, you know, this young man. A lot of people, first of all, they're very confused about your age. They think you're probably 16, 17. Some people think you're 21.
Okay.
I've heard people say you're 21. And I think that's because of a particular role you played in a high school series that sort of gave you a lot of mileage.
Yeah.
So, Mike.
Yeah.
Yes. Are you married? Are you single? You know.
I'm not married. I'm not single either. Yeah.
Okay. You are what? You have to complete it.
You asked if I was married or single. I said I'm not married. I'm not. But I'm in a relationship if that's what you're asking, because you didn't directly ask. But okay.
Oh, okay. And you're of the marriageable age.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Because one of your selling points, in case you're not aware, aside from your great artistry, is also the looks. And a lot of women are like, okay, Mike, we see you.
Thank you.
You know, are you up to 30 years? Should we be? What exactly? Should I take your picture to Shiloh and pray so that you become my husband?
Oh, well, yeah, I'm of marriageable age, if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not looking for, you know.
All right. All right.
But I think that, just so that I chip in for Mike here, you know, having Mike on House of Gar, for me, also shows that the future is bright in that space.
Absolutely.
The amount of dedication, focus, and his willingness to push boundaries. So we had phenomenal actors, Chata, Femi Branch, Femi Adebayo. These are big names, right? And he had to compare. He had to sort of like work against them. And he gave 100. We were on set for over 30 days.
Yes, 30.
He was there from day one till the very end.
Wow.
And there were times where he got physically hurt. There were times where I would push him and say, Mike, you have to give me more. You have to go, especially where he was killing Shasha.
Yeah.
I've been trying to avoid spoilers.
You have to get me there. Until you get me there, and there were ants, there were things biting them, it was middle of the dark. Oh my goodness, and this guy just went for it. And I said, he's going to go very far. Very, very far, because when you're willing to push the envelope, you're willing to understand that when you're an actor, it's not about your good looks, it's about your ability to deliver.
Absolutely.
And he dug deep, and I think for me that's the most important thing.
Thank you so much. I'm super grateful for that.
Yes, you should be.
Absolutely.
But also, again, you did the work. So please enjoy it, indulge in it, and really, House of Guys is a great production.
Couldn't have done it with the amazing BAP, legend. Legend. I remember having several conversations with her before and during shoot, and trust me, those conversations were very crucial in like how everything came out to play. And also, I was surrounded by a great team of cast, Femi Branch, who plays my father in this, and Shasha, and Jide Oyebile Jeblaze.
Yes, Jide Oyebile.
Absolutely. The team was incredible.
It was phenomenal.
She put it all together.
It was amazing.
So the opening scene, because I've been trying as much as possible not to give out so much details. The opening scene, that fight scene.
Yes.
You know, I was just wondering, how were you able to just direct this in such a way that it doesn't look fake? Because a lot of our productions look fake. You know.
Well, You know,
and I think that's the thing we're going to talk about last, because I think we're out of time. We need to also quickly speak with someone else, a guest. Yes.
Should I talk?
Yes, please.
Oh,
Go,
I see. Oh, so, so the first thing as a director is that I don't go to set without knowing my shots. Right. So I already knew where I wanted to get the legs, when I'm going to shoot the arms, how many people I wanted information. I already rehearsed it. All the actors came for rehearsals at TerraCulture. I did the choreography with them, with the choreographers, that this is how I want it. This is how I want the horses to be arranged. I knew who was going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, you know, in my head, I always arrange things. Yeah. So I'm not a director that gets on set and I'm flustered. I'm not flustered. Everything is like tick, 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 tick. So we shot all that fight scene, by the way, that first opening in 1 day.
That's amazing. In fact, there's nothing else to say other than you have to make sure you just go see House of God. Thank you so much for coming, BAP, and Michael Afolarin.
Thank you very much.
Robin Mind continues after this break. Stay with us.